I'm having a really hard time with this today, I'm noticing. Okay, but I can get through it. Hello, welcome as we continue deep diving into astrology 2 degrees at a time. Today we're working on Leo Aquarius 5 as we look at truth and symbolism, insight, psychological profiling, the storylines of astrology, the storylines of our lives. Without further ado, thanks for being here. Let's get into Leo 5. Rock formations towering over a deep canyon. Seekers arrive at a holy city. Through narrow winding streets, a man is following a mysterious woman. Rocks by which their shape seem like people who look down from great heights. A seemingly young man, but with gray hair. The stone here is sandstone. It is a stone of creativity. It helps us build and strengthen the cohesiveness and solidarity of relationships. It encourages truth. It promotes clarity of thought and sight. It facilitates the ease of movement and change. Both stones will be in the description if you'd like to take a closer look. Leo is a very special sign in that it carries the Lion's Gate, and we're getting close to the Lion's Gate. So this is telling us we've arrived at the holy city. Seekers arriving at the holy city, and the Lion's Gate is in the sand. It's in the desert. So it's a sacred place. Sand is seen as sacred here. Sandstone is seen as sacred. Seeing the beauty that is created over eons, over many of our lifetimes, being humbled by the beauty of nature. In one aspect, it's asking us to just embrace the fact that nature is a part of who we are. If we just allow, don't overthink, just allow, what is brought to us will come in closer and closer contact with the truth of our creative nature. The man chasing the woman through the street. Fascinating, and what it is saying, again, it's repeating what I just mentioned, in that our masculine urge to conquer, to think our way out of things, to make things happen, to push, is meant to come into contact with the feminine aspect. It's not necessarily about a man stalking a woman. I mean, on one hand, of course, it can mean that. But really, it is talking about the feminine nature within is the great mother, the well of creativity deep within each of us. The masculine aspect is the outer, pushing, but the inner is pulling, the receiving. Being in a receptive mode is being asked for here. To love yourself truly, inward and outward, is the only way to come into wholeness. When it was time for me to take this deep self-exploration trip, it was made clear that the primary thing that I needed to do was to love myself. If at first, you can't love yourself, at least make friends with yourself. But the key is to love yourself. And the more we do that, the more we come closer and closer to the truth of who we are. So the seemingly young man is the inner child embracing the wise old man. And when we do that, we have peace. We have clarity of vision. We can see through the fog. So the source of all wisdom is within. There's deep medicine here with sand, meditating on the beauty of rock formations and sand formations. Could be very healing here. Stop pushing, stop overthinking, allow, be receptive. And knowing that we are the ones creating what we're experiencing, and the more we take responsibility for that and own that truth, even when it is difficult, even when we're faced with things that we don't understand, at a deep instinctual level, the intuitive is at work here, and it sees things that we don't. It understands things immediately that we don't. If we embrace that, and we have an urge to do something and we don't really understand it and we just know we need to do it, just do it. Loving our emotions, even when they're not easy to live with, even when we don't understand them. We respect them. And the more that we love them for trying to talk to us and we learn this communication within ourselves, the easier it becomes, the clearer life becomes. And this degree can have a deep urge to understand what is at the core of everything. So a deep curiosity, but again, the curiosity is what is at the core of myself. Let's take a look at Aquarius 5. A council of ancestors is seen implementing the efforts of a young leader, archives which no one has looked at for many years. Gradually, the wind unearths a temple buried in the sand. Humans worshiping an obese nature goddess. Many generations of a family speaking to each other across time. The stone here is Cacoxenite. It is a stone of ascension. It helps break bad habits that are no longer serving us. It can help us connect with our higher selves and our spirit guides. So this degree is also talking a lot about sand and the nature goddess being discovered, the temple being discovered. An obese nature goddess is the Great Mother. It's a symbol of the Great Mother. And inside each of us is the Great Mother. We are the creativity of our reality. We are the temple that is buried in the sand. So overthinking, over time, analyzing, all the things we do to truth, eventually over time it gets twisted and it is buried like a temple in the sand, and it's our job to unearth it. It's there, we just have to find it. By clearing away needless details, it makes it easier for us to find the meaning and the purity in everything, the essence of all. This has a clearing energy. What we're wanting to do is unearth who we are. By connecting to our spirit and connecting to our emotions, we come into focus of who we are. And leave a comment. Did you have a dream about your family? I did yesterday, and I wasn't quite sure what it meant until I got to this degree. But yeah, it is absolutely talking about this degree. It was several family members, one that's already passed on, and they had an industrial type building. I think it was like a garage, but then also like a warehouse, and it was completely cleaned out, and they were all working around getting things done in a hurry to start something. A cleansing degree, a degree where we are tapping back into our roots, to admit that we have connections to our family. And I'm laughing because I have never really identified with either side of my family just because of the way that I came into this world. My mother had to get married to have me. She had to quit high school and get married to have me. Was in the Catholic Church and was excommunicated, was kicked out of her family home. So consequently, by association, I was not really accepted on that side. And because she ended up not staying with my birth father, I was not allowed to be associated with the other side of the family. So I grew up with my mother basically like an orphan. So I've never really identified with my family. But what this degree is saying is that I need to really sit with the dream that I had, because hidden within each of us, we come from lineage that is helpful to us. That if we can let go of the emotional baggage of all the ways that our family has hurt us, has hurt me, done me wrong, then we can tap into a great resource. We can feel rooted. I'm going to be thinking about that today because I am seeing that is a major message here, is to embrace the fact that my family does have many interesting characters in it. My mother being one of them. She wasn't in the dream, but she's definitely a character. Salesman, packaging. One was an incredible inventor. I'll be thinking about that today. We are the archives that no one has looked at for many years. So there's a depth of power within each of us, especially now. We're heading into a sacred time where we're opposite the Lion's Gate, and the power on one end is the power on the other end. So even on Aquarius, if you watch the movements of major companies, they make major movement early in February. Clothing designers, they drop their new line, they drop it this time of year, and they drop it right before the Lion's Gate in July. It's a powerful time for big business to make big moves, for sure. And that also means we can take that as our cue that that's when we make major shifts, major changes. Our major power is available here. And the more we connect with our roots, with the core of our self, intuitive self, we come together like old friends. It's making friends with our emotions like we're long lost friends, because we are. So a hidden foundation of strength is available to all of us here. That's what I have for you. Leave me a comment if you had a specific dream about these symbols, if they're saying something specific to you. Subscribe if this information is interesting to you. Give me a like if you've enjoyed this, and take care till next time.